Hello, everyone. This is Elizabeth with Scott Leroy Marketing, and welcome to Lead Generate with Command Facebook Ads 101 Attract Listings. Today is December 13th, so if you are viewing the recording, some of the features may have changed. Today, I'm going to be working in Mozilla Firefox, but you can also use campaigns really nicely with Google Chrome Incognito. So first, we are at command, which is agent.kw.com. Next, we'll enter our username and password. Username is not case sensitive. It's generally something like first initial, last name, maybe a number. Then click sign in. Now that we're in command, we can click our name in the top right corner to go to settings. We're just going to do a few housekeeping items to make sure the system is all set up for you. Now, you must already have a Facebook page created through your Facebook account. If you do not, we do have a tip video going over how to do that step by step. You must also be an admin of that page. And I'll go ahead and bring up, there's a really nice KW Answers article set up for success before launching a Facebook ad. And there's that in the chat. This just goes through 8 steps that you want to check before posting or publishing your first ad. Again, like I mentioned, you want to have a business page already. And unlike DocuSign, where you don't need the 2-factor and device verification set up, on this Facebook account, you must have the 2-factor authentication set up. Next is being that admin on your page. So some people don't create their own pages. They hire that out. If you are one of those people, just make sure you have that admin role. If you do create your own page, you're automatically set at that though. Number 4, you must have a Facebook Business Manager account already created. You can click here to see that. Of course, you want to be logged in first. Next, you want to make sure you've read and accepted Facebook's lead ad terms. This button here is really nice to be able to click and see those. I will show you going through the steps of publishing this ad where that pops up, but sometimes it pops up, in your toolbar behind the window. It's kind of hard to see. So if you do need to come back to this article and click this page, you can see and confirm that you've accepted these terms. Next 3 steps I'll go over within command, but it's just to connect your account, complete your marketing profile, and set up your payment. So back in command, again, we found this page by clicking our name in the top right corner, then settings. You want to connect your Facebook account. Now, your page may look a little different. It may be in a different order. That's okay. You want to find the Facebook Ads Manager. So if this is not already connected, you may find it down under Marketing Automation. And all you want to do is simply click that blue button on the right side of the page, Connect Account. Now, I do also highly recommend going ahead and also connecting Facebook post scheduling. That's just going to save you a few clicks later on down the line. And all it takes is a few clicks, because once you sign in to one, it'll take that sign in information on the next. Now, the difference between these two is Facebook Ads Manager is the paid version. So you have to spend money to publish these ads. Post scheduling is completely free. Ads Manager won't post the ad to your business page. It will actually come across as a sponsored ad in others' Facebook news feeds. But the post scheduling will show up on your business page. So all you have to do is click that connect account, follow the prompts, enter your Facebook email and or phone and password, accept and confirm that it's linking. Once you do have it connected, you will see your Facebook account name, which is generally your personal name, appear here. This is showing your account is connected. You'll also see the status in the middle column, and then the button on the right will change to manage. So once you connect your account, you want to go to manage to select your page. Now I have already done so this box is already checked, but you do want to check this box and click done. Now, if you have already connected your account, I think they updated it about 2 weeks ago or so, but are having problems publishing ads, you may want to come back here to the Ads Manager and click Manage and make sure that your page is selected. When they did that update, it added this pop-up, so you do have to come back in and check your page. Yes, you can just solely use Facebook post scheduling without Facebook Ads Manager. Yes. I only suggest adding them both at the same time because it's only a few clicks extra, and it'll save you from having to log in again later. But yeah, you can just solely connect one or the other. Now, this is just simply a Facebook class, but other ads you can do are for Google Ads and Twitter. So you may see those options later. If you want to go ahead and set up these accounts or connect these accounts, you can. But today's class is just over Facebook. Now, another point on the different connections is Instagram is not an option. The only way you can do publish ads to Instagram is if your Instagram is already connected to your Facebook. So you want to do that through the Facebook settings outside of command. But so you may see an Instagram option later, and that's because my Instagram is connected to my Facebook. If you would like any other step-by-step instructions or hints or tips on post scheduling, check out our YouTube channel, and we have a couple of tips that go over that. But today we'll simply be going over Ads Manager. Jocelyn, if you're getting that message, shoot us an email and we can look into that. Post scheduling is the free option, so it shouldn't be charging you for anything. And Yes, you should have a Facebook Business Manager account to do the post scheduling as well. Now that we have our account connected, we can head over to campaigns. It's a little megaphone icon. It's the seventh one down on the left-hand menu. While you're still learning these names, though, you can click the red square with the white KW to pop out the names. And again, we're headed to campaigns. A few notes on the dashboard here. Your screen may look different than mine. You'll find a button to connect more accounts, a nice visual on what accounts you do have connected, another shortcut to add accounts. And then as you publish ads, there will be a section up here between these two. There's actually 3 different versions of it, depending on if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. But it'll show you really nice campaign metrics on how well your ads are doing, which ad is the best, etc. Below that section, you'll find quick posts in regards to post scheduling and tips and training. One more thing before we start the campaign, though, is payments. I always suggest coming here first in the top right corner to set up your payment before beginning. All you have to do is simply click the blue text on the left-hand side of the screen and fill in all of the fields, which are required, designated by the little red asterisk. Pretty self-explanatory. And then afterwards, click Add Card. That payment will then show up here and allow you to publish an ad. Also on this screen, you'll find remaining credits. So if you publish an ad, want to stop or pause it later before it ends, you'll receive credits as a refund. You'll find those here to be used on your next ad. And then the bottom half of the page is more metrics. So you can see how much you've spent per channel, cost per lead capture, cost per click, cost per milli. Export those as a CSV file, which stands for comma separated values. It's a type of Excel. So lots of good information, even on the payments page. So now we can click the big blue button in the top right corner to create campaign. And select social ad paid. Now here's the Google Ads option, social post that's free, direct mail is postcards, and email for email campaigns. We do have other classes and other tips over those 4 options, but for this class, we're just going over the social ad paid. And yes, you will have to pay for the ads that we're making today. First step is to enter a campaign name. This is only visible by you, and we do recommend creating some sort of naming convention. For example, in today's class, I'm going to do a just sold. So I'm just going to type JS and then do the address, maybe city, state, if you are on the border. Now, this can be changed later as well, but you do also want to pay attention to the character count. Next, choose your goal. This month, we're on attract listings. Last month, we did advertise listing. Next month, we're doing brand awareness, and then so on and so forth. So if you want to do another goal, feel free, especially for if you're following along doing your own test campaign. Generally, all of these goals, though, look the same on the next page. So you can still follow along, just plug in your own info. And this can also be changed in the next step. So don't worry about it now. KWRI just simply uses these goals for tracking purposes, just to see what people are doing, see what they need to develop for later iterations. But when in doubt, you can always click other as well. Next, check your channel. Again, this class is strictly over Facebook, but here's where you can also do Twitter and Instagram. And click Create Campaign. Now in Firefox, this box will never go away. You should see that it does process fully using Google Chrome Incognito though. This is the DBA or Market Center logo. So I'm just going to simply close this pop-up here because we can add it later. And before we begin through the steps, I do want to change the preview from web feed to mobile because I feel that most people view Facebook on their mobile device. So you want to make sure it looks good for those. And web feed, you can also toggle back to that if you wish. But when in doubt, I always switch it to mobile. We recommend using Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome Incognito to work in command. So first section is name and goal. Since you already entered those in the last screen, it is collapsed, but you can click the drop down arrow to edit either of those options. Next section is listing. Again, I'm using the attract listings goal. And my example today is a just sold. So I am going to find that listing by clicking add listing. And what this is going to do is pop out KWLS from the KWLS 2.0 from the right-hand side where you can search for your listing. Yes, this class is being recorded and it'll be posted to our YouTube channel later this afternoon, which is simply youtube.com/ScottLeroy There's a few ways you can search for your property by address, MLS number, or listing agent. So you would just simply type in your address and click search. Now, what I find is switching the status to all and the show to all brings me results the fastest instead of trying to figure out, oh, is it abbreviated or not? Is it city, state or not? I just go ahead and change these both to all and scroll through to find. So this being a just sold to attract more listings. Let's choose this one in Malden, Mass. And click select. Now what this is doing is taking the images from the listing and processing them for the campaign. You can also, and I'll show you in a later section, upload different photos if you wish. But if this sticks like it is now, you can always close this little embedded pop-up as well. So now that we have that listing, we're going to go to the next section, text, and click configure to drop that down. You'll see that the main copy does come over if you do select a listing. You do want to pay attention to the character count. And then this little slightly gray smiley face represents emojis. So if you want to add any emojis to your text, you can here. So you just want to go through, edit anything if necessary, paying attention to how it appears in the preview. So you'll see this is 218 characters and it does have an ellipses. So I'm just going to cut down some of this info. Until there's no more ellipses. So just a quick tip there. Next required field is the headline. Pay attention to the character count. You can also, one suggestion for a headline is to pull from the main copy or the description here. But for my example, I'm just going to use just sold. Next, you want to enter your description. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can either type whatever you want in here or use a suggestion. You can shuffle through them by clicking shuffle. And then once you find one you like, you click use suggestion. And that applies it and makes it black. Again, you want to watch your character count and you can use emojis. Now, the description may not show in all instances of your ad. Facebook will make that decision for you. But here's also the first you'll see of Facebook ad policies. So once you have these three fields filled, click Save to collapse. Next section is media. You can click Configure to drop that down. Here's where you can upload any images if you didn't let it syndicate from KWLS 2.0. You can also, though, add video. Now, we recommend this being a really short video, so more like a GIF almost. But once you select this option, you can see that the video must at least be shorter than 10 minutes, smaller than 250 megabytes, in an MP4 or M4V format. Here's some more best practices for videos. So if you need any of that information, just click through and you can see these tips and tricks here. Once you have that filled in, the next section is your DBA logo. Now, again, if you let it syndicate from your marketing profile at the very beginning, you may already have it here. But if you don't have it in your marketing profile or you didn't let the system work like I did, you can use this blue text, which is a link to KW Connect, which you can see that in the bottom left corner if I hover over it, to download your Market Center logo immediately. Next, you'll choose your DBA logo position. I recommend left because my Market Center logo is left aligned. I think it looks better, but you can use right as well for sure. You can also include your ownership statement if you wish. I also recommend checking with your broker to make sure that the statement is correct if they don't need or want anything added. Of course, watch the character count and click apply. So once you're done with this section, click save to collapse that back up. And of course, it's not going to let me, but that's okay. This is just an example for you. Next section is Facebook settings. So I'm going to open that one up. Now you will see account is already filled in, but if you do have another, you can click the drop down to choose the other. Next, you want to select your page. So I only have one page. I only see one in my drop down, but if you have multiple, you would select it from here. Now, once I click this, if I had never made a paid ad previously, it would pop up the Facebook lead ad terms. Again, it may pop up, at the bottom, off screen, behind this window. It kind of hides. So check out that Setup for Success KW Answers article if you need to go back and confirm whether or not those terms are accepted. Also, once I click this, you'll notice Facebook lead generation form will already select for you. Now, this is not only recommended by KWRI, but SLM as well. This will ensure that every lead that clicks on this button here, which buttons the next field, will come automatically to command. So if you do not choose the Facebook lead gen form and you choose site or landing page, you would have to manually put those leads into command. If you leave it selected, it'll do all the work for you. Now, what this lead generation form does is once they click this button, Facebook automatically collects their first name, last name, email address, and phone number. Sometimes it is auto-filled from their profile already from their account, so saving them more clicks. And then it will take them to a website, whatever you designate here. And I'll go over this more in just a minute. So going back to the button label, you have three options: learn more, sign up, or apply now. So choose one. And next field is the website URL. So what I suggest using is going to your KW Command website, which ends in .kw.com, searching for this listing. Oh. And search. And once you find your listing, now for my example, I'm not going to be able to see it, but so I'm just going to choose this one. So click to open. And then I'm going to click within the URL field up here towards the top of the screen, which highlights all. Right click, copy, and then come back to my campaign. Delete all of this jargon because that's already going to be included in my copy of the URL. And right-click paste. So there you see the https:// already there. Now let it work its magic and it'll show that it's a legit website. And what this does is once they click that button, have their information collected, it'll take them to whatever website you put here. And why I recommend your command website is that it's all branded to you still. They find out more information about the property. It stays all consistently branded. Now, if you are doing a just sold like myself, you may want to choose a landing page instead. But you can certainly do that by clicking this button here. Now, you do already have to have it created as well. So you would just simply click it from here. But that'll insert that right away. Now, next half of this section is audience. You can leave the audience as default, which is the location of the listing that you selected in the previous section, with a default radius of 20 miles. That is perfect. You don't really have to do anything else. But if you would like to customize that, you would toggle on this Use Custom Settings, which will turn it green. You can find out a little bit more about database targeting here over this tooltip. You'll see that target a custom audience is already selected. Now you can target my database instead. Well, target your database instead. But the purpose of this class is lead generate with command. And if they're already in your database, you're not generating new leads. So in this class, we will target a custom audience, but just know that that is an option there. Next, you'll see location, which is country, city, state. Again, you can alter this as well just by clicking the drop-down arrows. And you can also change the radius here by either typing it in or clicking the plus and minus. Now, I will say the minimum radius is 15 miles. Unfortunately, you won't be able to target both within one ad. You would have to duplicate and customize, and I'll show you where that option is a little later on. But that, like doing the duplicate and customize, will save all of your previous information, like the listing, text, and media. Now going even further into expert targeting, again, this piece is optional. You would simply click Add Interests. Now what this does is it narrows down the people who see this ad even more. So we started out with the United States, within the city zip, 15 miles of that. But within that audience, you can do things like, let's see how fast this loads today. If they have an interest on their Facebook profile about home or home repair, If they're interested in real estate, you have investing, entrepreneur. If this was an ad for brand awareness, building your team, real estate license, real estate appraisal. We also suggest maybe choosing the type of listing that it is: luxury, commercial, farm, ranch, land, lot, vacant, etc. Or even, the type of consumer you want to attract, first-time home buyers, investing, like I mentioned. You also may want to target those who have the interest of Zillow or Trulia or Realtor. Now, for those specifically, you'll see two options. You want to choose the option that is not the pro, because the pro would be the agents. So if you want to attract listings, you would choose the regular one. Now, when hovering over any interest, you'll see the audience size. This estimate is a global audience. So it's not that you're reaching this many people. You're only going to be reaching the people within these parameters, but the audience size listed here is global. So if you wanted to create an ad to cover all the United States and not a particular state, what I would suggest is choosing a city state in the middle of the country and then maybe doing a radius of, however many miles. And it looks like the max is 50. So no, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to do that. Now, the next piece, and let me just add one interest to show you here. Once you add an interest, you'll see this button pop up, narrow audience. Now, we don't necessarily recommend narrowing this because you're already pretty narrow with location, radius, and then interests. But what this does is if your consumer matches all of these, it must also match this secondary interest. So if someone has agriculture on their Facebook profile, they must also have, for example, air conditioning in order to see this ad. So it just narrows it a little too much to be super helpful. So we don't recommend narrowing the audience any, but we do recommend adding the interests. And, 10 or more is probably ideal. So once you have this whole section filled out, you can move on to lead settings. This is the newest section that they have added recently. This is designating what you want to happen to the leads that come in. Do you want them to be auto tagged or auto assigned to a smart plan? Now, auto tag, you can either choose from the list here that you have. So your screen may look different than mine. Or you can create a tag from here. So you'll see I have some with a naming convention matching the name of my campaign. So for this one, I would do JS123 Main Street to know that this lead came from, oops. So I know that this lead came from this ad. I am having trouble typing today. So if I wanted to create a new one, I would simply click create, choose the color, and click add. Now, the difference for assigning to smart plans is you cannot create a new smart plan from here, but you can choose one that you already have. So if you would like to do that, you can. If you also have an auto trigger for a smart plan and just have it auto tag here, then it would then be added to the smart plan as well. So it's just multiple ways to do one thing. Once you're done with this section, click save. Then we'll go to the last section, duration and budget. Now, no two markets or areas are the same, so they won't have the same results, but Keller Williams and SLM do recommend at least 10 days with a budget of $1 per channel per day. Coincidentally, this is also the minimum is $1 per channel per day. Now, I will also mention ads may take up to 24 hours to be reviewed by Facebook before becoming active. So if your example is an open house and it's this weekend, you'd want to create this ad, as soon as possible before the open house so that you give it that time to be reviewed by Facebook. So you always want to do your ads days in advance. It will plug in a start date and an end date, but you can change that by simply clicking the little calendar icon. If you wanted to run it through, however long you want. The duration will then update automatically. Now, the budget, you'll see my duration is 34 days, and by default, it was 30. My green check mark has since gone away because it's under that $1 per channel per day. So you can either toggle up with the plus or minus, or type in whatever you would like here. Once I reach that at least $1, I'll have a green check mark again. But, if you wanted to do $2, you can change that immediately here and see how it turns out on the right. So once you have this information added, you would click save to collapse that section. Also want to pay attention to your preview while you're doing all of this. Now, if you started this class and selected a listing, you should be able to click that change listing. And let me search for this one again. There's not a deselect there. You may have to scrap this ad and start anew. I may not be seeing all of the buttons since I'm in Mozilla Firefox, but if this is just a test ad, then you can start a new one without that listing there. After the ad runs, so like in my example, my end date was January 26th, it simply disappears from other news feeds. Selecting the listing brings over the text, media, it autofills for you, so you don't have to type all that in additionally. So once you have all green check marks, that publish campaign will be available for you. If it's not, you don't have all green check marks and you want to come back and fill in all of those fields. I do also highly recommend maybe saving as a draft overnight, coming back to it the next day with fresh eyes, making sure everything's spelled correctly, all of the details are just how you want, and click publish campaign then. But since mine's just an example, I'll click save draft and confirm. Yes, the ads do get saved so you can repost easily at a future time after the campaign ends. What you'll actually see, I clicked save draft, but even if you publish or go back without saving, it'll take you to the paid ads tab here. So at the beginning, we were on the dashboard. Now we're at the paid ads tab. And on this screen, you'll see some metrics up top. You can change your view of those if you wish. You can also see all of the leads that have come in here with this blue text. You can search for ads, narrow your view, change your filters here. But this will show you all of your ads. And you can even toggle from page to page if you go over the limit down at the bottom. So no matter when they end, they won't disappear from this screen. So you'll see the name of the ad, the channel, a quick preview, the status. Status is also where you, if it fails, you can hover to see why it failed. Duration, cost per milli, cost per click, cost per lead captured, how much you spent, how much is actually allotted versus how much Facebook has applied to the ad, your goal. These three dots over here give you more options to edit. Here's that duplicate option. If you wanted to create one for your database and one for targeting and or archive. Now these options will change once you do have an active campaign. So it'll include pause or stop as well. But these three dots is how you get those extras. A few other notes: whenever you launch, the budget that you set for that ad is just for that ad, so not any of the future ones. The definitions of all of these columns or words is under this little eye in a circle in the center right. So if you want to find out what any of those means, like the cost per milli or link click or lead captured, check out the little dictionary. Again, that's in the little eye in a circle on the right-hand side of the page. Once an ad is live, you cannot edit it. What we recommend is pausing or stopping and then duplicate and customize. Now, if you do pause or stop an ad, you will get refunded, like I mentioned at the beginning under payments. You will get refunded the rest of that amount in credits after the ad was scheduled to be over. So in our example, my ad ran until January 26th and starts on the 23rd. Pretend I wanted to stop it December 26th, so it only ran 3 days. I won't receive my credits until after it ends, January 26th. What if you don't have a listing? This is a webinar for attracting leads to sell once you have a listing or call generation. of leads for your business to attract prospects. So this class was just using the attract listings goal. And in my example, I just used a just sold. Now that can be your personal listing that just sold. You can also contact your market center leadership, particularly your broker, to see if it's possible to advertise someone else in your office's just sold listing. From there, you would also want to get permission from the agent themselves. But if you advertise it like, you know, our brokerage just sold this house, you may be able to do that. So if you've never had a listing before, you can still use this to attract other listings. But yeah, this one was specifically for attracting listings, getting those leads using Facebook ads. In future classes, what I'll do is I'll change the goal. So my example is a little more accurate. I believe the next one I said was brand awareness. Yep, going down the list here. So next time I'll go over how to advertise yourself to gain leads using Facebook. So I used a just sold example to attract more listings, because if a seller is viewing that and, oh, that just sold is down the street from me, I should use the same agent. Or, oh, that just sold is the same price range as mine. Especially if it's a more expensive listing, then the seller would be more inclined to use you. Or, oh, this agent just sold this house with the same floor plan as mine, so I'm going to use them. It's all about thinking about what the consumers are thinking with these goals. Facebook post scheduling is something completely different from paid ads. But yes, if you want to do post scheduling, it's called social post. So if you have any further questions, or if you ran into any trouble creating this ad, publishing this ad, let us know. Here is our YouTube channel as well. I'll go ahead and post that in the chat again. So it's a clickable link this time. And then here is our website, scottleroymarketing.com. Also in the chat, with our contact information at the bottom. Again, if you run into any glitches or trouble, feel free to contact us and we can help out. We can help troubleshoot that as well. But that is it for class today. If I didn't answer any questions or you think of one later, contact us and we'll be happy to help. As always, thanks for joining and hope you have a fabulous day.